Hi everybody! Hi everybody! Welcome to the Crystal Lovers Google Hangout. Yes, we are finally here.
All right.
We are finally here, and I am so excited to see everybody, and I'm so excited to see everyone who's managed to join the panel today. And oh my gosh, oh, what a blessing! What a blessing! Anyway, before we begin this event, I want to just welcome everyone and also welcome Grandma. Grandma is my Tibetan quartz crystal. And
Nice.
if you can see, she has a little babies hanging on her. And this basically is the overall theme for why we are having this Google Hangout. Because we want to create a community of crystal lovers. Oops. And
yes,
I don't know who's
Go ahead, Caroline. You're doing great.
no, I think there's some background noise, and anyway, ignore that. Things happen. Hold on.
okay.
Okay. So we're going to carry on. Ignore that, and things happen. We all know how it happens, especially when there's a lot of energy. That's what we can say that was. There's a lot of energy, and everyone's speaking at the same time. But anywho, we are back live and ready to talk to crystal lovers about the beautiful things that are happening in our lives and to share all the wonderful experiences. And before I forget, let me get back to Grandma for 1 second. So Grandma is here to foster community spirit, to show love and to send love and to just beam love to all of you crystal lovers who have experienced the awakening process, the loving and healing and transformative process of crystal healing. So, yes, exactly. So, as we go along, I just want to invite everybody to just feel comfortable because the people below here are crystal lovers that I met on YouTube, and they're here to share their amazing experiences with you. So, are you ready? I'm going to introduce them one by one because there's a lot of things they're going to talk about. They're going to cover a lot of things, and by the end of this conversation, you will learn so much. You will be expanded, you will be open, you will be loving. We're going to send healing energy to you guys, and you're going to love your crystals even more.
All
So,
right.
who are these beautiful crystal lovers? Alrighty, we're going to start with the first one. Adonya. Yes. Hi, Adonya.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Caroline, for having me. It's so exciting to really connect in this way to not just the panel of folks, but to the people that are actually viewing this right now and who are choosing to connect in this beautiful new moon day. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for having me.
You are so welcome, Adonya. And I just want to tell you guys that Adonya will be talking about her love for crystals and how they help her in her daily life. So if you're all out there and you're wondering how to use your crystals in your daily life, Adonya is going to be having a very interesting conversation with us today, and you're going to be so blessed. Yes. Okay, so the next person, a YouTube lover that I love, he's called Indigo Savage, and for purposes of this conversation, we're going to call him Savage. Yes, Savage. Hi, Savage.
Hello. I want to
Yes.
say it's a real honor to be here with all these beautiful, amazing people and to share some of my experiences and my story with everyone. It's really is an honor to be here.
Yes, we are so happy to have you. As you can see, Savage is a crystal energy junkie, and he's going to continue his conversation about how to open your third eye, or how he opened his third eye, how he used his intuition to get into the dream mode. So if you've been having dreams and you're wondering how to open your third eye so you can have clearer dreams and everything, you're going to listen to Savage today, and Savage has an amazing, amazing, amazing message. At least it will help you because you know that, first of all, you have to open up your intuition, and then from there, you learn to listen to yourself, the inner person, and then from there, you can work on yourself and then project outward. So Savage, thank you for being here.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so We're going to move on to the next guest, who is John. After he unmutes himself, maybe he'll introduce.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Hey.
Hi, John. Welcome.
Hey,
welcome.
world. Hey, crystal lovers. How y'all doing today? My name
Yes.
is John J. Jalango. I am known on YouTube as the Bipolar Ambassador, and I will be talking about crystals. I use them as a tool to make ways, shape, or form. I say that crystals alone can heal you of your mental illness, but crystals were a tool that aided me in my path of, balancing myself, meditation, and stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
Big selenite one later. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, John. What John is going to really be talking about today is how crystals helped him. He's been having mental illness and bipolar disorder, which by no means is anything that anyone should be ashamed about. But he used crystals not as the end and as the conclusion of everything. He used crystals as a tool to help him and support him through the process of trying to ground himself while he was experiencing the illness. And not even that, he even started a YouTube channel to help other YouTubers who have bipolar disorder really get on their lives. So it really get on with their lives. So really, it doesn't matter what experience that you had in your life. Nobody should judge anybody for anything. Every experience is valid. Every experience is an experience that you have chosen in this world as part of your soul's purpose to help you grow and expand. And no matter what you are going through, crystals can be a loving friend to help you expand and grow and to even find a way into the future. So don't judge yourself just because you have this or that, or because people say you have this or that. We are in the end all one, and we're all beautiful creatures, and all of nature is here to serve us. So you'll be hearing from John, Bipolar Ambassador, about how crystals helped him in his life. Yay! And then now, yes, we are going to go to the vibrant and radiant and ever happy Morningstar. Welcome.
Oh!
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I am honored that I've been asked to be on this panel with all of you beautiful crystal lovers. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. And I have been aching for a very long time to share my story with crystals and the role that they've played in my life, helping me and healing. I've been studying them for a very long time, and I'm so happy I can finally talk about it with people who are interested and appreciate and can relate. So thank you so much for having me. I also can't wait to hear everyone else, all of your experiences and your stories. This is very special.
You are so welcome, Morningstar, and I can't wait to hear your story about how crystals saved your life. By the way, guys, just as a matter of interest, she has such an interesting and amazing story about how crystals saved her life, so you better stay tuned in for that. Okay. Yes. So now, all the way again from Bulgaria, my flamboyant and beautiful high energy friend, Slavi, welcome.
Hi, I'm so happy to be part of this beautiful and wonderful hangout, which we are now together. Excuse my voice because I got a little flu, but I am so happy to be part of this high energy conversation with so much beautiful people like you all who are here. So I'm fortunate and blessed to be part of you. So it's very amazing how the crystals can really meet you with amazing people, with you all. So
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, you guys have no idea what you're in for. And thank you, Slavi, for joining us all the way from Bulgaria. Slavi will be talking about how to connect with people, crystals, and nature, how his crystals really helped him connect with nature and with other people. So it's going to be a heartwarming, expansive conversation. And I'm so, so happy to see you guys here. So, now, we have another guest who is about to join us. Maybe she's going to make it in or not. At that point, we'll introduce her. So, before we waste any more time, let's just dive into this interesting topic and just welcome Adonya. It seems like Citrinia is here.
I know. This is so funny. I guess I won't. I'll start where I was, and then just just let everything just flow as it's meant to. My experience with crystals actually only began, 6 years ago. So I haven't really been playing with them for very long. I've always found myself gravitating towards the woo-woo stuff, even though I was extremely judgy.
Yes.
Of the lifestyle. So when Reiki presented itself to me in a way that I knew that was my next step of evolution, that's when the crystals also said, okay, she's ready. So when I first began working with them, I probably do what a lot of people do. I didn't have the books, the Book of Stones. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about Love is in the Earth. I knew nothing about, the crystal Bibles. I just had these stones, and I would sit them on my phone and wonder why my phone was always dead the next morning. They were kind of just there in my awareness, but not really things that I was consciously relating to.
Yeah.
And so as things continue to evolve for me, I began using the crystals and not being in a collaborative relationship with them. I would look at the book and say, okay, this stone is for ... and I would put it on my person, and then I would move on with my day and not really be consciously aware of this sentient being that said, hey, chick, I'm here to help you out. And I was kind of in a more controlling, these are my crystals, versus really understanding my relationship with them, and that I was their guardian. Yes. So through the years, my relationship is what I believe it should be. It's definitely at a higher level. I'm now very focused on who these beautiful beings are.
Nice. What, are you getting emotional?
I'm gonna get emotional. And why it is that that they've chosen me to guard them and to.
Oh, you're so sweet.
It's so ridiculous. Oh my God! People that don't know, they're like, seriously, she's getting teary-eyed over some stones.
No,
it's good. But they're beings, though, and they're alive. And if I'm on this plane and I'm living, then why can't they? So, by having that beautiful collaborative relationship, I now realize that when certain crystals that I know create great change, when they bring themselves forward through experience of not having been, I guess, mentally prepared for the change, they've now helped me move myself up the evolutionary scale, and that when a piece of moldavite speaks to me and says, okay, it's now time for us to play, I know mentally that something big is about to change in my life, and I'm now in a better space to a more prepared state of mind. I'll say it that way, because when moldavite first presented itself to me in 2012, I used to sleep with 11 pieces underneath my pillow. I loved that stone. I mean, people are like, oh my God, don't you get really buzzy? And I was like, no. I mean, I really didn't love moldavite that much. It was pretty psychotic. But I didn't realize the incredible transformation that was coming down the pipeline as a result of that. I was completely not even prepared for that. So
okay, wait, Adonya, so what kind of transformation came down the pipeline as a result of you experiencing the energy of Moldavites?
Well, it was people that I had been working with. Suddenly, those client relationships were no longer. And there were relationships where I didn't feel that they were very reciprocal anyway, where I was giving a lot of my time, and although financially I was doing extremely well, I just, because I wasn't valuing and appreciating myself, then that energy was just amplifying and just getting bigger and bigger and bigger in my life. And the resentment, it was just eating away. I would hear the name or hear a voice, and you just literally, people would be like, did our head just explode? I mean, it had gotten to that point to where I had had enough, but I wasn't vocalizing it. It was like, well, at least it's money. And I know a lot of people are out there that put themselves in those same positions. Well, at least it's work, so I'm just going to put up with it. And Moldavite was like, no, we are going to help you see your worth, to see your value. And with that, those relationships, completely gone. Next, I found myself, now I was unable to maintain the apartment that I had been living in with my beautiful offspring. And but it was an interesting place that I wasn't freaked out about it. Which I found that to be very interesting. I sold what wouldn't fit in the car at the time, and I found myself driving. It brought me to Indiana, and as I said in another hangout, that is a state. No offense, no offense to anyone living in Indiana. I just never in my life, and I mean never, ever, 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 never, ever, never would have found myself in Indiana. But I needed to go there to continue to move through a lot of energy. And it was that energy of, I placed a lot of importance on stuff, and more stuff. So with me having that importance on those things, I watched that stuff just kept slipping out of my awareness, and Moldavite was that big piece for me. Labradorite was also another crystal, and they were both hand in hand in helping me pull my human head out of my arse and really understand and see that that I was a valuable person, and to really get me to appreciate myself. And so now that's my relationship. When I have a crystal on me, it's no longer just there. I'm consciously focusing. It's a constant state of touching, appreciation for my relationship with that crystal. If I'm wearing earrings, I'll find myself, and people, I can imagine what I look like in public. I can imagine people giving me those.
You look like a high vibrating being in public, so don't worry about that.
Stroking my jewelry, but that is how I now relate with crystals on the daily. There are some stones that will stay with me for days, and other stones that I'll just look and go, when I go, I haven't seen you in a while, then I know that crystal's like, okay, it's time for us to work with one another.
So,
go ahead.
It seems to me like the Moldavite crystals and the crystals that you encountered really helped to elevate your frequency a lot, and helped you make all these transformative life changes in your life, and truly really helped you appreciate yourself more and love yourself more, which I think is something that is across the board for most people, because most crystal lovers, when they get into loving crystals, it teaches them first to love themselves and heal themselves, and then ultimately helps them raise their frequency to a point where everyone is now breaking ties with what no longer works. And moving to places that they've never been and doing things they've never done as a result of the love for crystals. So it seems like that is the same message that you got, right,
Oh,
Adonya?
absolutely. I absolutely agree. But I said, for me with my crystal relationships is that the most important piece that I got out of it was truly understanding that I was merely their guardian, that
Yes,
they were not my possessions, that
right.
I don't own them, and it allowed me to see where I may have been controlling and manipulative in my other relationships.
All
And and
right.
and so it's been a very delicious healing ongoing, because there's always layers.
Yes.
There's always going to be those layers, and that's probably been the biggest lesson, versus me going to other places and getting rid of other physical stuff. That's been for me my greatest gift, since I began working with crystals, is really helping me to release those aspects of myself. That's maybe I won't say release, acknowledge
Yes.
certain aspects within myself that I was once, that's not me. That's totally you.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't act that way. But to really put that very large cosmic mirror and stand in front of it and not be ashamed of what I saw, and allow
Yes.
those aspects to be acknowledged and then
Yes.
ultimately loved. And
Yes.
versus releasing them, just loving those aspects of myself so that they could be integrated, so that I could be more of a whole being. And
Yeah.
and that's what I love about working with crystals on the daily.
Wow, that's a beautiful, beautiful sharing, Adonia. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'm sure so many other people who are watching this and are working with crystals can benefit from that very crucial piece of information that Adonia has shared about how to use the crystals as a mirror, so that you can look at yourself and integrate that part of yourself and learn to love yourself. Maybe if you have to release it, you release it, or otherwise just integrate it and be who you truly are. So thank you so much, Adonia, for sharing. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to Citrinia, who has just joined us. Citrinia?
Hello. Hi,
Hi.
everybody.
Hi, Citrinia. Hi.
Oh,
Hi.
Hi.
Are you coming all the way from Costa Rica?
No,
Oh, where are you from?
no. I live in Georgia.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, nothing on my profile is the
Accurate.
actual truth.
Okay. Well,
I'm
that's
not.
fine.
I'm just getting used to this internet and chatting, video chatting, and everything. So
Oh,
yeah.
oh, that's nice. Okay, so you're here with us. You're so welcome. And
Thank you.
maybe you would like to tell us a little bit about how you got into crystals, or why you love crystals, and
Okay, sure. Well, it's been about maybe a little over a year now, and I don't have any breakthrough stories. I'm still learning about the crystals and everything, but I do have experiences with labradorite.
mm-hmm.
This is my ring, one of my rings right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, slightly. It's a bit
Um,
dark, but yeah.
yeah, I know. I'm trying to adjust the lighting here, but I've had some serendipitous experiences with this ring, and I also have a necklace that I wear. And it seems like whenever I wear those, it's just like, for instance, one day I was in shopping in a store, and my bill was about $183.
Uh-huh.
And so I went to pay, and the lady was like, "Oh no, you paid already." And I'm like, "No, I didn't pay." She's like, "Yes, I have your receipt here." And she pulled out a receipt, and the amount was similar to my total. But I just
Wow.
had to be honest, and I told her, I said, "No, that is not my receipt." And she's like, "Are you sure?" I said, "That's not my signature." But I've had a lot of different stories like that with this labradorite,
Mm-hmm.
and but like I said, it's been maybe about a year now that I've been just experimenting with them, and I really don't have any breakthrough stories, but I do feel the energy of the crystals. I
Mm-hmm.
do meditate with them
Yes.
and place them on my chakra points,
Wonderful.
and Yeah, so my story is basically I'm still learning. I want to, meet other people who are into the crystals and hear about other stories and hear about different ways that I can use them to basically just uplift myself, um,
So that's
happy.
great because that's very good because right here on the panel and everywhere else on YouTube, once you set out that intention that you want to meet people that are of similar mind, they're going to pop out up everywhere. So
Great.
I wanted to ask you, so how did you get into crystals? Like, what was the first crystal experience that you ever had?
Let's see. Well, the first crystals that I ever, well, I was on YouTube and I was listening to D Health Store, Hootie Maatra,
Mm-hmm.
and he had this story about rose quartz, and he talked so highly of rose quartz. And it was like a love story that he told about rose quartz and how he met his mate, and he would pray and ask God to send him his soulmate. And I mean, everything was about rose quartz. The video was about an hour long,
Yes.
and I actually listened to the whole thing. And I mean, his story just inspired me to get some crystals. So the first crystals that I ordered, I actually ordered them from the health store, and I ordered black obsidian, rose quartz, and citrine.
Yes.
And I really resonate with citrine, and I started doing research on citrine. And by me, I'm a Leo, and they say citrine is like the perfect stone for Leos.
Yes.
And but that's how I got into it, because I really liked his story, and he talked so highly of citrine. And at the time, I was really into the feng shui and everything. So I set up my little corner in my house, and I put some citrine and rose quartz in a waterfall, and I had a fire element there and everything. And so that's how I basically got into it. And then from there, everywhere, every place I visit, if it's like a crystal store or a new age store, I have to pick up a crystal. And so that's basically how I got into it, listening to his YouTube video.
Yeah, but isn't it funny? I'm sure many of us here have had the same experience. You hear someone talking about crystals, and then it triggers something in you, and your heart just opens up, and boom, now you want to find the crystals. Now you want to buy the rose quartz. You want to buy the citrine. So if there's anyone out there watching this video, you know that crystals can come into your life through various means. Sometimes it's just hearing someone having a conversation about how they got introduced to crystals, and that information resonating with you so strongly that you just got to get that crystal. You just got to get that rose quartz. You got to get grandma. You got to get whatever, because you want to experience that energy. So thank you so much, Citrinia. You're welcome here. This is going to be a growing community, and that is our intention for all of us. And you're gonna, grow and expand and learn, and we learn from each other and teach each other, because we are both teacher and students. We're all, on some level teaching and learning every day. So thank you so much for joining us, Rom. Georgia.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right. So now we're gonna talk to Indigo Savage, who I lovingly call Savage. So he's going to share his story about how he opened his third eye, because that's very important, like he said, and then how he got so many wonderful dreams, and that led on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So Savage, hi, you're welcome.
Hello. How you doing?
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I basically got into crystals. I was on a spiritual journey, and I felt that they could really help me with that. I was feeling my spiritual gifts coming to the front in my life, and I thought that, my intuition basically led me to them, and I thought that they could possibly help me. And anyhow, I started, working with them and bonding with them daily, kept them with me all the time, carrying them with me, sleeping with them, and meditating with them. And right away, I could feel one night I would hold them on my third eye, I could feel a tension in my forehead, like where I held the crystal, and it would stay there for, you know, quite a long time. That tension would, even after I removed the crystal. But you know, that I just kept doing that, and the tension kept getting stronger and stronger. But right away on my journey, also my dreams have always been really important to me, you know, throughout my whole life, you know, even as a young child, and, you know, through my young adult life, and, you know, premonition dreams, dreaming the future, different things like that. And anyhow, I was having trouble remembering my dreams, and, you know, they weren't real clear at all. But the crystals brought that forward for me. You know, I could, you know, right away I started having better dreams and could remember them better, and all that.
Yeah.
Which I was very thankful for, you know, because I love my dreams. But as I was working with them, it took about a month, and I was holding amethyst on my third eye. I really bonded with the amethyst. Really, you know, felt their energy, and, you know, it was a powerful stone for me. And and then later on, I got a Auralite 23. I'll show it to you here if it'll work. There it is.
Yes, we can see.
I got this one, you know, and anyhow, between that and the amethyst, I was, you know, one day I was laying on the couch, and I was actually using both of them. I'd do one and then do the other. The Auralite was a new crystal to me at that time, and I had smudged it with, I used Western red cedar smoke to clean them and clear them, you know. And I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but...
is that some kind of sage?
Yes, that was how I cleaned them, yes. And it seemed to work really well. But anyhow, you know, I had it, charged it up and was holding it on my third eye, and I was rotating back and forth from the amethyst to the Auralite. But I don't know, both of them were really powerful. I'm not sure which exactly won, but I think while I was holding the Auralite on my third eye, that's when my third eye opened.
Wow.
Yeah. And I could hear it, you know, a popping and a cracking, and I think that was actually what that popping and cracking was the calcium that was built up on my third eye, you know. So I'm not a young man anymore, you know what I'm saying? So I think that was what was going on.
Did you say you're not young?
Yeah, and, you know, get a calcium deposit, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. But anyhow, then, you know, after that was popping and cracking was going on for a while, and then it was an explosion, you know, like fireworks. It was, you know, just a brilliant explosion of beautiful colors, you know, bright, you know, just amazing colors. And, you know, from then on, my dreams, you know, were really powerful, you know, astral traveling, you know, just real spiritual dreams of all kinds, and just a beautiful, beautiful thing. But, you know, all my senses, all my intuition especially, but just it blew it all wide open, and, you know, I was able to, yeah, I just got, you know, that's what led me to the crystals in to begin with, was to help those things, and it really did, you know. I just brought it all to the front. And,
so wait, are you saying that because you had experiences with, you wanted to open up your third eye, and that's what led you to experiment with the crystals? Because maybe you wanted to open up you're curious about opening up your intuition. So is that what led you to be more interested in crystals and everything?
Yeah, my whole, all my spiritual gifts, you know, I didn't really expect my third eye to open. I didn't really know, you know. But that was the, you know, the biggest effect of it, really. But I expect them to help me with my energies, and, you know, to be able to, you know, just my spiritual gifts, you know, to help me with those. But yeah, when the third eye opened, then, you know, everything was just blown wide open, and you know, the working with crystals is very intuitive, you know, and
Yes.
telepathic, you know,
Yes, yes,
and all
yes.
those things. Yeah, and that, you know, that helped with that too. You know, I mean, all those things were just elevated, you know, to a new level. And you know,
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like finding crystals in my life was like predetermined. You know, it was part of my journey, and
Yes.
I was just led to them. You know.
Yes. Yeah, because I also don't think that people just come into crystals just like that. Because how many people are here who have never seen a crystal? Like I never saw a crystal until 2012. So where was I all that time? So for you to really, really find crystal, it has to be something that was predetermined. Like it's a breadcrumb that you left, you know, you decided, well, if I come into this lifetime, crystals are going to be one of the tools that are going to help me awaken. So
Yeah.
I think that finding crystals and loving crystals and just having them within your energetic space in whichever way is something that's predetermined. I don't think there's any accident. I don't believe in them. So I totally understand what you mean.
Yeah. You know, they taught me how to be heart-centered, you know, and
Yes.
love, and they taught me really the unity among all living things, you know, and
Yes.
how we're all connected to the oneness, you know, and all that was just, you know, part of
Yes.
what the crystals taught me, you know.
Yes.
All that has come forward in my life, and you know, it's been amazing for me, you know.
Yes, it's an amazing journey, really, because it teaches you so much. But at the end, the lesson that most people learn from interacting with crystals is ultimately love. Because if you interact with these beings, there is absolutely no way that at the end of the day you can be someone who is not filled with love. If you're truly interacting with truth and in love, which we truly are,
Right.
then truly you are working with the crystal's energy to become a better person, because the end of everything is love. Ultimately, it is love. There's nothing else. Love is all there is, and we truly are one. And I'm so happy to hear your story, Savage, because it really brings that message across, and even your understanding of how crystals have brought you from opening up your third eye, which is exciting, but it's not the end of everything. At the end, it brings you into heart-centeredness and oneness, which is truly what we are. So thank you so much, Savage. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so now we're going to go to John, Bipolar Ambassador.
Hello.
Hey, welcome, welcome.
I've been experiencing a lot of difficulty with my connection, so I've been popping on and off. I've logged on about 7 times now.
Well, 7 is a lucky number, so.
It is a lucky number. So let's just hope that during my little time slot here, I can explain all that I have to share and, you know, just, you know, talk a little bit about my favorite crystals.
Make it good.
Okay. I'll try. This is pretty odd because my sister is the one hosting the show, so it's kind of weird, you know. But don't you all agree? Don't you all agree?
Yeah.
Okay. I was very skeptical about crystals when I first started this walk with them, but I had to see it for myself, you know. I had to test it and see that really there's something about these beings because they're created by God or the universe or whoever you call it. I believe in God. And I had to see that these stones that came from the earth, did they really have some form of energy to them? I mean, if copper conducts electricity, it means there's some energy in copper. So therefore, there must be energy in these stones. And so it was one time, I mean, my sister Caroline introduced me to an arsenal with me. Well, first, this little cell, very small, but it really resonated with me.
Okay,
And
hold on, John.
carnelian. Okay, yes.
Hold on. You kind of broke off a little bit. So what was that you had on the screen? What was that stone that you had on the screen?
I was showing the crystals that first resonated with me when I felt a real connection, a real energetic connection, and that was selenite and this beautiful blood-looking orange carnelian. You see
Okay.
that? Yeah. So what happened was I
Nice.
was going through a period where I was really depressed. I was living in a room, a rented room in a rundown ghetto neighborhood in the Bronx. My luck had turned down and I couldn't be at a more lower place in my life. And one day I lay on my bed and I clutched my crystals for dear life. Carnelian in my left hand and selenite in my right. And I just clutched them together. And I tell you, the pulsating began in the selenite crystal. It was pumping. It had a heartbeat. All of a sudden going on off. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay, you froze it.
It got so fast that my heart time. And then in my left hand, the carnelian started to swell. After about an hour of just laying in this presence of crystal harmony, I felt my spirit leave my body. Can you believe that? If that's not enough evidence of what happened, I felt it leave.
Hello. Okay, so John was just explaining how he had an experience with his selenite and his carnelian. So he kind of had an outer body. Hello, are you back? So I guess maybe he dropped off the call. So I'm going to. Hello, John, are you there?
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Yes, you kind of froze off. So
I
carry
know.
on.
I told you I'm experiencing some problem. The energy is
I
too
guess.
strong. But what I want to state and what I want to elucidate is that crystals are a tool. I am bipolar and I have a mental illness, but it doesn't mean just go and buy some crystals and you'll be balanced, cured, and chakra aligned. But what I'm saying is I use them as a tool for meditation, to quieten my mind. I put them under my pillow. I still have a large selenite rod that I keep underneath my pillow. I mean, look at the size of this thing. You know, this is selenite right here.
Wow.
This is a beautiful piece. And you see the way it glows in the light and it charges all my crystals. I keep this under my pillow. And I believe, you know, it's the reason why I have, you know, like a spiritual sense, because there's a spirituality associated with selenite. So that's my story. But I want to state that in no way or form should someone assume that crystals will heal you of your mental illness. But in my condition, it brought about a lot of peace and a lot of change in my life, because after a year of being with these crystals, my life transformed. I have more blessing than I ever did in my life. I have a better,
Hello.
I have a better partner. You know, this thing came in abundance, and I used to make crystal grids.
Hold on, John. Can you
with
repeat what you
event.
said? Can you just repeat what you said, because you just kind of broke up?
No.
I think the last few lines.
How far do I have to go back?
No, what has happened to you now
I'm
that
sorry. Can you all hear me? I don't know. Forgive me for my connection.
you're doing great?
Yes. Oh, okay, thank you. And so, you know, my crystal grids, I used to make crystal grids and charge them with quartz points. And these quartz point crystals, I wish I had a picture I could paste up. I would set my intentions every day. And with the new moon, I would write down my intentions. And I would say, I want a new apartment. I want a new life. I want a higher vibration. I want to connect with my spirituality, you know. And lo and behold, if I count like a year later, my life transformed in multiple facets. And, you know, I just have to say that, you know, these crystals aided me. I didn't say that the ultimate, I don't really worship them, but they aided me. They were tools that assisted me greatly in my walk thus far. And that's John Jalango, Bipolar Ambassador. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, John, for sharing your story. And I'm very happy because I have seen personally how crystals have really did help my brother John really ground himself and even focus himself to a point where he was able to get his life together. So it to be emphasized that using crystals is not a way to solve any mental disorder. Definitely, there are things that resolve things energetically, but crystals are just a tool to help you calm yourself down and probably get yourself organized and just work on some things on an energetic level. But definitely, if you have to see the doctor, always see the doctor and stick to your medication if that's what's required. So thank you, John, for sharing your story. I can
You're welcome.
Yes, I can truly attest to the changes that have happened in your life. And I'm so grateful for all the forces, seen and unseen, that are helping all of us at every given time. So thank you so much. So I would go to Morningstar, but it seems she's still trying to connect. So I'm going to go to Slavi. Thank you so much for joining us again, all the way from Bulgaria.
I thank you all, also Caroline. Excuse about my voice. I thank you so much for including me into this hangout, and I'm so happy to be part of this.
Thank you.
My experience with the crystals started all of a sudden. I had a very hard life. I mean, at some point of my life, I left my job. I worked at UNESCO. I'm an archaeologist. And I was in very bad situation when I discovered the crystals. I had no good energy, nothing positive happening in my life, nothing. So a friend of mine gave me a crystal, and she told me, the crystal I'm giving you this stone is gonna work for you. So I said, how could a rock could heal you? She said, just be patient, your time will come. So, do you hear me all?
Hello.
Can you understand me all?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yes. And I started, after a little time, I started to search for this connection with the nature, because I think that the nature is the biggest healer of everything. When you try to communicate with the nature, you can heal yourself of everything, because I do believe that the crystals which are coming from the nature are part of the Mother Earth, which they give us the Mother Earth messages and energy. So when I started to practice with the crystals and meditate, I started to connect with the natural spirits. The natural, and I just find out that with the crystals, you can communicate with all the forms of other realms, other spirits, and other kind of angels, and so on.
Yes.
So my experience brought me to so much deeper experience with all of this which I have. This changed my life in very positive perspective. I started to have a wonderful friends. I found my beautiful partner, which I never expected that I could be that fortunate in my life.
Yes.
In last December, the last year, I got pulmonary embolism.
What, a pulmonary embolism?
Yes, which was one of the I was very close to that. And yes, you know how it experienced with the pulmonary embolism. My body had a very major trauma from this experience. So I started to work with crystals more intensively to heal myself. And I can say that the crystals really amplify your healing energy, and they really help you to heal as much as possible faster. I started to explore about every crystal, which every aspect their metaphysical properties, which works for me. For the different people, it could work in different way, but I'm sharing my own experience with the crystals. And this changed my life in very positive direction. And right now, I can say that the crystals brought me to so much higher level of of me. Who am I? I started to realize my place in life, and I can say also that every crystal has its own beauty to work with.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
true.
like archaeologist, which I worked before, I just find out that the crystal played a big part of human life. You know,
Yes,
yes, when the old civilization knew better, they used crystals for everything to heal, diseases, for higher spiritual experience, for astral journeys, and for everything. So I tend to believe, and I know that the crystals really can transform everybody's life and amplify the energy around you,
yes,
because your own personality is a mirror to whatever reflects around you.
yes,
The crystals really help you to find your way, your right path to transformation.
yes.
So,
I completely
yes,
agree.
yes, and this is why I want we to spread all the message. By the way, we are 7 people. 7 is the lucky number.
Yes,
Do you see that? Adonia suggested that.
yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
yes. Thanks to Adonia.
yes,
And
yes,
the point is that uh, I want I think that we have a mission to spread this beautiful message of the crystals, because it's amazing to be part of this wonderful journey, because everybody has his own journey in life. So,
yes,
so I started to meditate with my crystals, and I could feel that every crystal could have a message, a lesson for you.
yes,
Now, all these lessons in life you learn, all these a message you could receive from the crystals in spiritual aspects, they are into the crystals, because the crystals bring the record of time.
yes,
Yeah, while the crystal grows, they keep all the information, and with
yes,
the right frequency and with the right tuning to them, you could read and receive all the messages with the crystal could give you.
yes.
Yes, I will be sharp today because my voice is really not present right now. So I'm leaving you to the next hangout to say much more. So this was my point
Yes,
of the crystals. I explored them.
yes, and that's wonderful. And I just have to say that I'm so happy that you're here with us today, and that you survived that whole episode with pulmonary, what is it called? Yes, whatever, yes. And we're so happy to see you here. Some of us, we can't even pronounce the names because those names are, let me say, they're terrible names. So I'm sort of glad that I can't even remember what it is. But I'm so, I'm happy that you're here with us, and at least you have used crystals in your journey to help you in your healing process, and also through the whole transformation, finding yourself and loving yourself and finding your partner and just being this light being that we are here. So it seems like we have dropped Morningstar, but we'll wait for her to join the call again. So I just want to say that isn't it so wonderful that we're talking like this? Don't you all feel the frequency, Adonya? Do you feel how the high vibes are right now on this call?
Yes, I feel them.
Second,
I feel
I,
not
I,
Adonia.
I do, and I'm laughing. I find it to be very, very interesting. I mean, because I think when you come together with such an intention of really connecting, when you're with people that you may consider to be, your soul family, even though we may or may not be from the same soul group, we are still connected with one another in this way, and
Yes,
so there's a greater sense of resonance within each other. And so technology is now being challenged even more because we're connected and we're raising our own personal individual frequencies merging with one another. So internet connections are going seriously cray cray. People are dropping. I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
Beautiful. It's amazing. Savage, do you feel the frequency just of us coming together as a group?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I just really like it a lot. I feel a great connection with all of you. Everybody here, and I just wanted to say too, something I forgot to mention, that as I was working with the crystals, my frequency, how I bonded with them was, I don't know, maybe you guys could share what you feel, but my frequency they raised my frequency to match theirs. Yes. And then that's when all the magic started happening. That's when the third eye opened and all those things. But it took about a month, to get to that point. But I just wondered, what your thoughts were on that, if that's what happens, or, how do you explain that? Yeah.
Wow, this is so beautiful. So it seems that, Slavi, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
So I wanted to ask you, how did you first come into crystals? Maybe you can tell us briefly what really led you to come into crystals, because Citrinia said she heard someone else talk about crystals. So what was the thing that led you into crystals? Did someone give you a piece?
You mean how I come in the first with the crystals, or how I meditate with them?
No, how did you first experience your first crystal? Because I saw my first crystal in a dream. Citrinia said that she experienced her first crystal when she heard someone else talk about it. So how did you come across your first crystal? So,
you mean that, wait. Caroline, can you repeat the question again?
Yes. How did you find your first crystal? Like, what was the thing that led you to see your first crystal? Did someone give you a piece of a crystal?
So, a friend of mine gave me a piece of crystal, who she told me, this is gonna heal you, which I said, which is a rock. How could it heal you? Because I was very skeptical. Like a scientist,
Yes.
you're always skeptical about the spiritual experience. So she gave me the crystal and she told me, just keep this with you. It's gonna heal you. I said, this is a rock, but I kept this. So one day I was cleaning the room and I just said to myself, I'm gonna clean here and there. So at the moment I was cleaning, I hear a noise dropping down. And I saw my clear quartz she gave to me. Okay. So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to meditate with this. What is there to lose? So I sit down and I started to meditate with my crystal, and I started to feel some tingling sensation and warmth all around me. I could feel how my aura started to change and my energy amplified. This experience you cannot describe with words, most of your experience.
Yes.
It was wonderful. So I said to myself, okay, I will buy another crystals. So I started to look into Google for more information. What can I do with the crystals? How can I use them? And little by little, I started to explore the beautiful world of the crystals. So I started to meditate with them, to put them on my chakras, and I could see how different person I become with them. So I have an amethyst, which I explore more the spiritual side of the crystals. In the crystals you can see their side, spirits, devils, and another energy beings into the crystals.
Yes.
The angel guardians. So I connected with my guardian angel. Her name is Sahara.
Wow.
Yes, and she showed me a lot about experience with her crystal, because when you meditate with crystal, you can explore that each crystal has its own universe.
Yes. Oh, wait. hold on, hold on. I just want to ask the people in these beautiful beings, have any of you ever experienced any thing like Slavi is talking about, how when you connect with a crystal, you feel that there's another energy that resides inside the crystal? Like, have you ever felt
You
any?
can get inside the crystal. You have to meditate to get inside the crystal. You know, getting inside the crystal is getting into someone's home. You have to show respect to the
Yes,
resident of the crystal, and you can get inside of the crystal. They may let you in, they may not let you in. It depends how you try to connect with the crystal.
yes,
Yes. Because when you cannot connect with a crystal, which is very, very often asked question, why my crystal doesn't want to work with me? But we can discuss this another time. So when you get inside into a crystal, you get into somebody's home.
yes, yes,
Once you succeed to get into a crystal, this means that you are really, truly connected with your crystal.
yes, yes,
You know,
yes,
and this is very hard to seize because a lot of people may not feel immediately welcomed into the crystals. You have really to have the energy and the wish and the fight to
yes.
connect with this crystal, which is very important, very, very important.
So what you're saying is it's very important when we get our crystals that we first have to connect with the crystals, we have to bond with the crystal, we have to understand the energy of the crystals before we start
Yes,
to work with it.
yes,
So truly, yes, I completely agree with you because that is a crystal. That is the most important thing. When you get a crystal, it's not just coming into your life for
yes,
whatever reason. It may come into your life for whatever reason, but usually it comes into your life to assist you and to help to transform you in some way, shape, or form. It's just like having a friend over. If your friend comes over, you want to know what is their name, maybe, um,
yes,
who are they? You want to feel them. You want to feel their energy. So when you get crystals, usually that's just basically how to interact with them. And when you
yes.
begin to feel that relationship and bond with your crystal, and then from there you can really take off. When you go into meditation, when you start, experiencing the energies, however you do it,
Caroline,
then yes,
may I say something?
of course,
Everybody should connect with the crystals in different ways. Some
yes,
people connect with the crystals through meditation. It's
yes,
different for everybody.
yes,
Everybody connect in different ways. As Indigo, which opened his third eye, which is his best experience.
yes,
Some people just do not meditate. Some people just
Oh,
holding
you
the
start with that.
crystals. Yes, holding the crystals and believe that the crystals are helping them into whatever they do. Yes,
Why would
a lot of people tells me
why
this is
would the
a
hardware?
placebo effect. No, there is no placebo effect. But let's say, but even if there is placebo effect, it still works.
okay, yes,
The most
completely,
important
yes.
is the intention and the fight you put into a crystal.
Yes, I
Yes.
completely agree. Okay, Slavi, hold on for a minute.
Okay.
Morningstar is back and she's having trouble connecting, so maybe we'll give her a chance to say something. Hi, Morningstar.
Hi,
Yes, good to see you.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
oh,
So,
now you can hear me.
yes, nice. So, maybe you should tell us how Crystal saved your life.
Oh, okay. So
Yes,
good. My computer is doing stuff and it's saying that my network connection is experiencing difficulties, and so I'm not really, as you all know, I'm not very computer savvy, and so I don't know. I'm not good with the technology, and I'm trying to get better. But so, anyways, if I could just tell my story briefly.
yes,
So my experience with crystals goes back to early childhood. My mother had me very early. She was only 22, and so I knew my great-grandparents, and we would go to visit them in Santa Barbara. My great-grandfather built a house on the cliffs in of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And they would go on walks together, and my great-grandmother would collect stones. And I have two of them here of hers, from hers, is the, I think it's carnelian.
Oh,
and
pretty.
the zebra agate.
Nice.
And these two are from my great-grandmother, and I love them so much. So when I was small, we'd go over there. I was very bored. There weren't any toys, but I loved all the pretty rocks and shells and beautiful colored glass that now is in my possession. And so I would play with them, you know, and I always had an interest in rocks and stones and shells and anything from nature. We didn't have very much money, so I would collect feathers or make toys out of nature. And anyways, to fast forward from that, so that was kind of my introduction to rocks and stones. They're just pretty, and I was attracted to them. And I'm a double Taurus, is very earthy, earth signs. And so I love anything from the earth. I love the earth. I love all the earthlings. And so when I was a teenager in high school, I had a car accident. I was on a moped, you know, like a motor scooter moped.
Yeah.
And the moped, I was on the back of a moped. I was a passenger. And the car came and hit me directly. And it smashed my left leg into tiny bits.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a compound fracture on the lower half of my leg. And so I went to the hospital, and I had many surgeries. I couldn't walk for 3 years. They had me on a prescription of Vicodin, which is a very heavy drug, especially for a child. And they did 11 surgeries, various things like bone grafts, trying to put bone back into the space that had no bone and promote bone growth. But I tell you what, now I know, I think the Vicodin actually slowed down the healing process.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was really traumatic. That was hard to take, especially for someone who has a hard time sitting still. I wanted to be a dancer when I grew up, you know, and stuff like that. I loved to skateboard. And so that was really hard for me not to walk for 3 years.
Yeah.
As a teenager, you know, when everybody's going, I love dancing. And anyways, so I was fortunate enough to meet someone who was already well schooled in the healing arts, and she taught me how to meditate. She taught me how to do hands-on healing, and she taught me about the healing effects of crystals and stones. And we would use a lot of quartz. We would use quartz a lot to meditate and visualize the bone growing back together, and visualize me walking and running and playing like normal. And so I'm very fortunate that I had some friends, and one of them, their mom was this woman, and we called her Sudi. And so Sudi was like my spiritual mama, you know?
Yes.
And because my family and the, no offense, but the Catholic upbringing wasn't doing much for me.
Yeah.
And the Western medicine, I think, actually prolonged and almost harmed me more. And they never even put me in physical therapy. It's kind of weird when I look back on it all. Like, they just kept giving me Vicodin and doing surgeries, you know. And so I was so lucky that Sudi taught me all this with the rocks and healing stones and crystals. And shortly after, I think about 6 months, of course, I changed my diet as well. I ate very raw and healthy to grow the bone back. And so finally, we had the last surgery was to remove all the metal they had put in there, various metal plates and rods and stuff. And because they were going to leave it in there. Western medicine will leave metal in your body, and it's not good. it's not good because your body is constantly trying to break things down and incorporate them into the system or
Right.
reject whatever foreign object. So any implants and any metal is hard for you to take, but I know people have had joint replacements and they need
Yeah.
that, and it's okay. But, you know, keep up on your immune system. So also I wanted to, and I'm just so grateful, and so I inherited the small rock collection, crystal collection from the great-grandmother.
Yes.
And then I just kept adding and adding to it. I mean, and I went through a deep, deep, long depression. I was very manic depressive. You know, the Vicodin's a depressant.
Yes.
And so the crystals helped to raise my vibration. And later on in my life as an adult, then I went to massage school,
Mhm.
and I became a massage therapist, and I've been able to incorporate it in my practice. I use it on myself a lot, but I also like to have people over, and I place them in front of my crystal collection, and I
Yes.
say, which ones speak to you? Which one do you want to touch?
Yes.
And then they go for the one they want, and then I read to them about like what it is, and it's always right on what they needed to hear, what they needed to hold, what the vibration, and
Yes.
and to reattune their own frequency.
Yes.
And I love it. It's like so psychic, you know.
Yes.
And so I think also as a very physical person, I had a hard time learning about energy and sensing energy and energetic work. I had a hard time with that because I'm so physical. I interpret everything physically.
Right.
So actually, when I hold a stone, it's very physical. But if I calm down, if I slow my energy down, I can tune into it, and then it helps me feel the energy.
Yes.
And I can hold one stone, and then I can hold another stone, and I can feel the differences, the different energies now.
Yes.
And I love it. I love being able to tap into the energy, and this is so important to me as a very spirited person. I'm very, you know, I have a lot of energy and a lot of emotion, and so the crystals help me deal with that.
Yes.
And also something I learned recently in my practice and in my working with crystals and stones, and this is a good way to put it to people who might not be able to understand, is that we earthlings, us humans, are made of mostly water, right?
Yes.
We're very water. We're mostly water, and you know, water is adaptable. Humans are adaptable. The water will mold around whatever you introduce it to. The water will absorb it, or, you know, it's very adaptable. So if you have, let's say my shoulder is has an injury, or I'm having problems with my shoulder, and so basically the vibration of this point in my body is a low vibration, and
Yes.
it doesn't feel good. It's painful. Any pain is a low vibration. So then if you introduce something that's naturally a high vibration to your physical watery body, your watery body will naturally raise up to meet that vibration.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I love that. That's something that's I've been able to explain to people recently, because they're like, oh, the little rock can't heal you, or, you know, anybody that doesn't understand. It's that we are adaptable, and the rocks have a higher vibration, and we just naturally raise up to it. I mean, that's why we love selenite so much. You know,
Yes.
here's my little selenite,
Yeah.
and it's in the shape of Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Africa selenite!
Yes.
And you can see through it. And here's my malachite and chrysocolla combo from Zaire, Africa, too. And it also is a little bit shaped like Africa.
Oh, yes. Nice.
So anyways, I love them. I love these two, but that's why we love selenite so much, and because it's such a high vibration, I mean, it can heal any, you know, your mind, your heart, your body aches, whatever.
Yes.
And it's so good. I just love so many rocks and stones. I could talk about it forever. And
Yes.
here's my new one, the Mystical Merlin stone. This is one of the newer stones that surfaced because there are new little babies coming out from the earth that we haven't seen before, right? Auralite, what was it, Auralite 23?
Yes, Auralite 23.
And then that's a
talked
new
about.
one. Yeah, and then there's this. This is a new one too. So I'm so excited. My journey with stones will never end. They are my little buddies and my little babies, and I take good care of them, and they want to be with me. You know, so that's why I have so many now. Like they're drawn to me. People give them to me, and I give them away too when it's appropriate. I feel, and sometimes one will break on me, and it's a little heartbreaking, but. Anyway, I feel like crystals and stones saved my life when I was so depressed. I didn't have any friends. My body was so broken, and they keep me company. You know, when I get lonely, I can hold one, and it helped comfort my heart. And because I'm an intense person, but I'm so glad to be connecting with more like-minded crystal people. You know, because I need this community. I don't seem shy, but I do have some shyness in my personality, and sometimes I'll clam up and I'll go in a little cave. I'll be like a hermit crab, you know, and with my little stones over here, like my little stones don't hurt me, you know, but they do challenge you sometimes, you know, like malachite. You better be willing to change if you want to hold that stone.
Yes.
Because it'll make sure you change in a big way. So, and I also have epidote. The epidote stone, I can't show you right now, but there's certain crystals that will actually amplify your vibration. So if you're in a bad vibration, you don't want to amplify it. You want to find a stone that will help you raise the vibration. And I could just talk about it forever, but I'm so glad I did get my chance to say something. I was getting really upset.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I love your stories, too. I really wanted to respond when people were speaking, so that's hard for me because I am very vocal.
Yes, but that's nice. That's nice because at least your throat chakra is open. So
yeah, it's probably the biggest one.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your story, because at least we are now sure that crystals saved your leg and saved your life, and we know that you love crystals, and we are so happy to have you as part of this growing community. So going forward, we're going to
Thank you.
Yes. So I think we're almost coming to the end of this broadcast, and I want to thank everybody who has shown up on this panel to discuss their crystals with me. Thank you so much, Adonya, Citrinia, and Savage, and John, and Morningstar, and Slavi. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we're going to be having more of these kinds of interactions. So if you're interested in joining the panel to discuss your story and your crystal experience, just send me an email. And I love you. And the people on the panel, those beautiful beings, love you. And we'll see you.
We love you.
Time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. See you next time.